Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Boom. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. Today we will be reacting to He Didn't Want the Baby, so he poisoned her. Let's check it out.
On February 25th, 2023, Jade Benning had a casual outing with Blaze Taylor, the man she had been seeing for some time and was pregnant for.
She started to say, um, you did this to me. You put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny.
She was already 5 months along with a baby girl.
He made it very clear that he did not want the baby. He did not want to be a part of the baby's life, and was kind of like ultimately like telling her that she would be a single mom.
From day one, Blaze made himself clear. He did not want this baby. But Jade had already fallen in love with her daughter, and there was no changing her mind. So she gave him two options: be a father or walk away, if that's what he wanted. She wasn't forcing him into anything, but those two options weren't enough for him. What he chose instead ended two lives. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Jade Tristan Benning was born on March 6, 1998 in Little Rock, Arkansas. She grew up in a big, tight-knit family and was about to become a mother. From the time she was 7 years old, Jade had this energy about her. Athletic, driven, always moving. She joined Cheer City United and fell in love with cheerleading. It became her thing. By middle school at Horace Mann, she was leading the squad. Then, at Little Rock Central High, she captained both the junior varsity and varsity teams, then graduated in 2016. Jade also loved cooking and wanted to be a chef, so right after high school, she enrolled at Brightwater Culinary Arts. Her first job was as head pastry chef at Mirabella's Table. At the same time, she started her own catering business on the side and called it JTB Eatery. Soon after, she moved to Nashville, Tennessee. She landed a position as head chef at Ernest Bar and Hideaway in the Wedgwood, Houston neighborhood. The restaurant became known for her desserts. Outside of work, Jade loved traveling and also loved music, shows, and tattoos. By early 2023, Jade's life was going exactly where she wanted it to. 25 years old, thriving career, strong friendships, loving family, and then she found out she was pregnant with a baby girl. The moment Jade found out, she was in love. She already named her daughter Ivy Blair. Everything she'd been working for now had even more meaning. But the father of her child had a completely opposite response. Blaze Anthony Taylor was 27 years old. He played football at Auburn High School in Alabama and did well enough to get recruited. He went on to play at Arkansas State University from 2014 to
Kind of remember this, hearing about this story before. His dad coached college football. He actually coached down at Auburn for a couple of years when I was down there. Trooper Taylor. Haven't heard much about his dad since this whole little situation happened.
2017. His father, Trooper Taylor, had been a college football coach for over 30 years, coached at Oklahoma State, Auburn, Tennessee, Baylor. The man was a legend in college football circles, and Blaze wanted to follow in his footsteps. What made him stand out off the field was his academics. In 2017, he received the National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete Award. He completed both his bachelor's and master's degrees in less than 4 years. Blaze looked like the perfect young man, talented athlete, academic achiever, son of a respected coach, and even had a clean record, not even a speeding ticket. After college, Blaze shifted his focus to coaching and scouting. He worked as a defensive coach at Duke University, then spent 4 years as a scout for the Tennessee Titans in the pro scouting department. That's when he met Jade, and they started seeing each other casually, while keeping things light, no commitment, no pressure. That's exactly how Blaze wanted it. But then, Jade got pregnant. She told him, and he did not want this baby. He made it very clear and stressed it repeatedly, but Jade had already made her decision to keep the baby. She gave him two choices: be involved or don't. She had decided to raise Ivy on her own, and he didn't have to pay child support if he signed away his rights. But here's the thing. He stayed in contact and kept some level of communication going. And as Jade's pregnancy progressed, he became more and more resentful. The pregnancy was a problem for him, something he saw as a threat to his future, his career, and his freedom. By late February, Jade was 5 months along. And then, after weeks of minimal contact, Blaze reached out, said he wanted to talk about the baby and their situation. Jade was hopeful. She thought he had decided to be a father after all.
So in this situation, it's probably like, you know what I'm saying, back, you that young right there, like that, you make like crazy mistakes. You other things that you think is severe don't be as severe as you think it is. But, there's maybe a couple things come into play. He probably didn't want to hurt his career. Um, maybe he had a girl, maybe he was already in a relationship or something like that. And didn't want her to find out. But I mean, she gave him I said two options. Once you do that right there, I mean, it's either she gonna keep the baby, or she ain't gonna keep the baby. And if she keep the baby, then either you gonna be there, you ain't gonna be there. That's really the only two options that you really have. So I mean, she laid it out there for him.
When he asked to come over, she said yes. Then she invited him to her apartment on Lebanon Pike. But the question is, did he not want to be a father at all? Or was it just that he didn't want to be tied to Jade? Maybe she wasn't who he envisioned as the mother of his kids. Maybe he had someone else in mind for that role, who fit better into the life he was building. Whatever it was, he decided to do something about it. On February 25th, 2023, Blaze showed up at Jade's place. They had dinner together, talked about the pregnancy, and had drinks. After a while, she started feeling dizzy, unsteady, and confused. She managed to grab her phone and called her best friend. But when her friend answered, Jade didn't say hello or acknowledge she was on the phone. Blaze called 911 and told the operator that Jade was having an allergic reaction. By the time the paramedics arrived, Jade was barely conscious. They rushed her to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and Blaze followed in his car. When they got there, the doctors immediately saw how serious it was. Jade's condition was critical. Jade was admitted to the ICU. Her best friend arrived at the hospital. So did members of her family. But Jade's best friend knew something else. She'd been on the phone with Jade and heard something concerning.
She called me. She never said hello. She never said my name. She never acknowledged that I was on the phone. She sounded like very wavy, and she started to say, you did this to me. You put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny.
2 days went by, and on February 27th, 2023, Jade's unborn daughter, Ivy Blair, passed away. But Jade kept fighting. The doctors were hopeful she might pull through. But on March 6th, 2023, what should have been her 25th birthday, Jade Benning was gone. The moment Jade passed away, the case was no longer just a medical emergency. Detectives with the Nashville Metropolitan Police Department started their investigation. They started by going back to Jade's apartment on Lebanon Pike, the place where it all happened. When they walked in, they noticed that the apartment was too clean and too organized. For someone who had just been rushed to the hospital in a medical emergency, things looked quite arranged. Investigators started processing the scene, and they noticed that there were 2 dinner plates, evidence that 2 people had eaten together. But there was only 1 glass. If 2 people were having dinner and drinks together, where was the second glass? The only one on the table had alcohol in it, and Jade was 5 months pregnant, so she wouldn't have been drinking alcohol. So where was hers? The investigators documented everything and took the cup into evidence. They searched the apartment for any trace of a second glass, but someone had removed it and cleaned up. But here's the thing. If this was just an allergic reaction like Blaze claimed, why would there be cleanup? And why would a cup be missing? Detectives went back to Jade's best friend, and she told everything she heard on the call. She explained that on the night of February 25th, she got a call from Jade, but it wasn't a normal call. Jade never said hello. Her voice sounded wrong, disoriented, and then she started accusing Blaze. The friend allegedly heard Jade say her drink tasted funny, that she couldn't walk straight, and that Blaze did this to harm the baby. When she called back, Blaze answered and said Jade was just having a reaction to something. This gave detectives a timeline, a witness account, and most importantly, a motive. Blaze Taylor did not want this baby. He'd made that clear to Jade multiple times and had pressured her to end it because this was a responsibility he didn't want. Detectives tried to bring Blaze in for questioning, but there was a problem. He wasn't in Tennessee anymore. Within days of Jade's passing, Blaze had left Nashville and moved to Utah. Without enough evidence for an arrest warrant, detectives couldn't force him back. He was out of their jurisdiction, so they had to gather every piece of evidence they could find. During the medical examination, something unusual was detected in her system, and it was not a small amount. So much that the medical examiner believed she couldn't have possibly taken it herself.
Police accused Taylor of poisoning his pregnant girlfriend Jade Binning with liquid cocaine in February 2023.
The investigation started coming together. Blaze had the motive. He was alone with Jade that night and had every opportunity to put something in her glass. And he had the behavior that didn't add up, the missing cup and the cleanup. He had also lied to his mother about Jade having COVID, instead of telling her the truth about what happened. And then he moved to Utah, right after Jade passed away.
He was in the hospital, and that's the only information that he had at the time was that they had said that Jade had COVID. And then a little bit later, I think that she went to ICU, and then he was separated in another room from her family.
Body cam video from his March 14th arrest shows an officer taking him into custody in a Walmart parking lot while he was in the car with an unidentified woman.
Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Good.
Can I ask your name?
Blaze.
Blaze? I need you to step out of the car for me, okay?
Okay.
What's your last name?
Taylor.
Put your hands behind your back for me, okay?
What's wrong?
You've got a warrant out of Tennessee for homicide. I'm going to tell you straight up, dude. We're going this way.
All right.
I know absolutely nothing about the case. All I know is I was notified that there was a warrant.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't have a choice but to deal with that, okay?
Yeah, no, that's,
So
I understand.
I'm just being totally straight with you. I don't know anything more about it.
After his arrest, he was extradited back to Nashville a day later and has been held behind bars without bond.
By early 2024, the case went before a grand jury in Nashville. Prosecutors presented all the evidence they had. The grand jury reviewed it all, and they returned an indictment of 2 counts on first-degree charges, one for Jade Benning and the other for her unborn daughter. The charges stated that Blaze Taylor allegedly put something in Jade's drink without her knowledge while visiting her apartment on the night of February 25, 2023. On March 14, 2024, U.S. Marshals tracked Blaze down in Logan, Utah. They found him in a Walmart parking lot, sitting in a red car with a woman. Blaze looked shocked and kept saying he didn't know anything about it. Blaze was taken into custody and was extradited back to Nashville the next day. He was booked into jail and initially held without bond. By the time Blaze moved on from Utah State, he'd taken another job, this time at Texas A&M University as a defensive analyst. His father, Trooper Taylor, was working there too as an associate head coach. But the moment Blaze was arrested, Texas A&M placed him on suspension pending investigation. The head coach, Mike Elko, released a statement expressing sympathy for Jade's family and saying the courts needed to handle the situation. In April 2024, Blaze had his first court appearance. The defense claimed there wasn't enough evidence to convict him and painted him as a young man with no criminal history and with a promising career.
And then Blaze's mother took the stand. She testified on her son's behalf, told the court that Blaze had never been in trouble, never had any legal problems, not even a traffic ticket. She insisted he was a good person, and she stood by him completely. More than a dozen family members and supporters showed up to court that day to support him. But the thing is, prosecutors allege that Blaze's mother didn't know the full story. She only knew what he told her, and what he told her was a lie.
Your Honor, what we heard today was that Mr. Taylor called 911.
During Thursday's bond hearing, the defense claimed there's not enough evidence to convict Blaze.
Your Honor, we're just asking that you set a reasonable bond. Let Mr. Taylor fight this case.
Though the state
Mr. Taylor's actions that day are unlike any other case that we have ever had in Davidson County.
and homicide detective Adam Reese
It appeared there had been some cleanup done.
say this was premeditated murder.
It's not a spur of the moment type of thing to put drugs in someone's beverage.
And that Blaze may not have let his family know how serious Jade's condition was in the hospital.
When he calls his mother to tell her this information, the only information he gives her is that Jade Benning has COVID.
But Blaze's mother, along with over a dozen on the left side of the courtroom, stood up for her son.
He has not had any legal problems, no arrests.
Then came the testimony from Jade's best friend, Nija Jackson. She was visibly emotional as she recounted what happened that night.
When she called me, she never said hello. She never said my name. She never acknowledged that I was on the phone. She sounded like very wavy, and she started to say, you did this to me. You put something in my drink. I knew my drink tasted funny. He made it very clear that he did not want the baby. He did not want to be a part of the baby's life, and was kind of like ultimately like telling her that she would be a single mom.
After hearing all the evidence, the judge set bond at $2.5 million. Now, under Tennessee law, defendants only have to pay 10% of the bond amount to get out. So on April 27, 2024, Blaze Taylor posted bond. He paid $250,000 and walked out of jail, but with conditions. He had to stay in Nashville and had to wear a GPS monitor at all times so authorities could track his location. The district attorney's office made their intentions clear. If Blaze is convicted, they're seeking life in prison without the possibility of parole. A trial was set for late 2025. Jade's family released a statement thanking the Nashville Police Department, the prosecuting attorney's office, the medical examiner's office, and the grand jury for their work in pursuing justice for Jade and Ivy. At Ernest Barn Hideaway, the restaurant where Jade worked, her memory lives on. Her manager and close friend, Lauren Weber, made sure of that. Jade's signature dish, the creme brulee, is still on the menu. Lauren even got a tattoo, the date she and Jade shared as their birthday.
55-year-old Jade Benning remains on the hearts and minds of so many people. Benning served as a chef at Ernest Barn Hideaway in Nashville's Wedgwood, Houston neighborhood, where she quickly developed a reputation for desserts.
To know her was to love her, and we're all so glad that she was a part of our life. Great dessert maker, so she would make creme brulee, and that is something that we refuse to take off of the menu because that was Jade's dish and we have to have it. They and mine are 3 days apart, so we were both Pisces girls, so we always hung out. We have a small picture of her that's right outside of the kitchen where she worked, and we light a candle for her every day. And then the employees that are here with me at the end of the night, we actually all blow it out together and tell her good night. We've got a picture by the server station where we see her all the time, and then we all have these bracelets that we wear as well. She was the glue that basically held all of us together.
The people who knew Jade describe her as someone who showed up, not just for the good times, but for the hard times too. She celebrated wins, comforted losses, and fought for the people she loved. Everyone who knew her remembered one thing about Jade, that laugh, the kind that got everyone else laughing without even knowing the joke. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.
So y'all tell me what y'all think about this video. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to Jade. You know, I hate this situation turned out like that. Um, do y'all think he actually done it, or do y'all think she just actually caught a little bit of poison? It's a sad situation, and like I said, what I'm saying, as young men, when you make mistakes like that, like you got to know how people feel about certain things, and when you go into a situation, and if you don't have kids with somebody, wrap that thing up, wrap it up. Be careful with what you're doing, but what I'm saying, I hate that, and I hate it for both sides. Whether he done it or he didn't do it, that's neither here nor there really. Because at the end of the day, it was a soul lost. So You know what I'm saying? I hate that. But y'all, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this story, what y'all think about it.